Hey everyone, welcome to our first quarterly update for 2024. It is no surprise to most people who import or export, your volumes are down purely because the demand is down. And a lot of the reasons why is very simple and straightforward. Like we have reported in the past, the inflation was simply too high due to the COVID highs we were all on. A lot of us got very, very drunk on spending, because we were locked down and we were making COVID levels of income and we couldn't go out and splash that money anywhere. So what do? We bought more TVs than we needed. We bought more mattress than we needed. We bought more luxury watches than we needed. But that gave a lot of the providers of these products a false level of buoyancy, let's call it that. So what happens is that everybody was spending more, so they imported more. The prices was jacked up because shipping costs, sort of followed suit because there was so much demand. It was an entire disaster of this domino effect, which caused this massive inflation pressures. And of course, everything that goes up must come down. And the reality is, when we started coming down, the prices that we were paying didn't follow suit. Our demand dropped, the price was high, which caused inflation. And all of you, including me and everybody around, we all have to pay a lot more for all of our responsibilities, especially the mortgage side of things. Interest rate during COVID, we were near historic lows, about 1%, 0% in some countries and what have you. But right now, in Australia, it's close to 6%, I believe. By just talking to the normal guys on the street and my circle of friends, what have you, they all have to pay 3-4 times more per month for their weekly mortgages. And most of the time, that increment in terms of additional payment that they have to do equates to a whole salary. Right? If you had two people working in a joint income family, that essentially took one person's salary out completely and some, and the other person's salary, basically had to pay all the living expenses that were significantly increased. So that was the situation. So the Reserve Bank's up their rates to essentially trying to quash all of these madness. Whether they did it right way or wrong way, look, there's plenty of commentary we have made and by experts on YouTube about it. We're not going to get into it here. But where are we now in 2024? The wash up of everything is that inflation is slowly coming down. The flip side of that is that because of the interest being jacked so high, our debt levels have gone up. People are still on COVID highs in terms of their salary. However, the trend of companies coming under pressure because the global demand is significantly reduced, the pressure on companies to start getting rid of some of their staff has been very much a reality, right? Especially the tech sector. That particular industry has gone off many rounds of layoffs and more to come. The commercial real estate market is a disaster. It's running into headwinds with all of the working from home, all of this, different hybrid work modes. A lot of people are holding the bag on the commercial real estate front. China's Evergrande just being ordered to go into receivership or voluntary administration, whatever you want to call it. Country Garden, another massive Evergrande style of, property development company that's Chinese based, is coming under threat, if not already pretty much on its way out. All of that is going to cause tremendous amount of headaches around the world. The much anticipated inflation that was meant to come in 2023, some are predicting will hit us in 2024. So by all accounts, this year is going to be a very interesting year. So for us at TGL, we're logistics people, so let's talk about logistics. Shipping pricing was crashing to historical lows, but recently, due to the Chinese New Year and also with the Christmas season as well as the Red Sea crisis, that has somewhat helped the carriers to keep a floor on those pricing, and in fact have increased the costs of shipping somewhat. Right now, out of China, for example, we were staring down a barrel of $500 a container USD. Now we're sort of back well over $2,000 a 40-foot container in terms of costs. So you can see that all of the macro conditions of the world have added upwards pressure to shipping costs. With that being said, we are still far less than what COVID levels of shipping was. I do not anticipate this high level pricing to maintain, because whilst a lot of noise has been made about the Red Sea crisis, shipping from Europe is going to significantly increase due to insurance costs, all of that is true. However, the demand is simply not there. So there's only so much the shipping lines can increase their rates for ships that are sailing because of insurance. But if their ships are sailing empty or half empty, they will still be under pressure to load those ships to the maximum. What that means is that whilst their costs might go up, they cannot sustain the high levels of cost in terms of what they sell to the importers or the exporters. So what that means is that ultimately demand is king, right? Red Sea crisis or not, it doesn't matter. Demand is king. Now, if a ship's insurance goes up by 5 times, great, that's extra costs and we all have to pay. Trust me, we are paying because carriers are passing that on. Don't think for 1 minute they're gonna do you any justice by holding that bag and go, oh, yeah, we will continue to give you cheap rates. They won't. They will try to capitalize on this as much as they can. But ultimately, if their ship run empty or not at capacity, they're gonna want to reduce their rates to attract more cargo because that's their business. I've always said the shipping line business is not a complex one. It's a very straightforward, single-dimensional business. It's a tin can floating on the water with many other cans on top of this tin can that basically they need to maximize the revenue of that boat, okay?
Giant to a maggot, big boss status. Ain't gonna lie, I really wish they would like a cabin. I ain't do no front and get my money on the back end. Yesterday's price ain't today, now we taxing.
With that being said, this year, with all of the inflationary pressures that's sort of curtailing because demand is dropping, you've got some macroeconomics or macro elements, conditions, geopolitics all playing into each other right now. That will continue to go on for some time. That's caused some of a temporary bubbling of pricing. I will see that to tremendously drop off as the year progresses, as the economic reality all hits us. My prediction is not only the tech sector, but every sector of our economy will start laying off people. The dark clouds are right in front of us, and any responsible company will need to look at their books, the book of business, and work out how to save costs. And there is only so much you can squeeze your supplier until a service or a product quality suffers, and especially in a service sector like us in logistics. The biggest component of our cost is staffing cost. So the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to saving costs is cutting staff. So be prepared for us all to sort of hunker down, get in the trenches and getting on with life. As a freight forwarder, this is nothing new to us. Whilst we are but one segment in the logistics sector, the freight forwarding industry within the logistics industry is probably one of the most resilient industries. We've always had to do a lot with very little resources. And this is what our bread and butter value is to the entire thing that is logistics supply chain. So for us at TGL, it's back to business. We're going to be very hungry on the roads, knocking down doors, getting new customers, and making sure the service we deliver remains to be over and above our competitors. That's the reality with the situation in terms of the market conditions and what we can anticipate for 2024. Needless to say, because we're running these updates through our news platform, 360 News, so frequently on a weekly basis, we will bring you the relevant news of the week on that platform. So please do subscribe to us, comment, like us, engage with us on that live stream. This is it for this particular update. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward in engaging with you on our live streams of 360 Logistics News. Thank you.